What up, world? It's your boy Steve for Not For Nothing podcast, while we are everywhere and nowhere at the same time, bringing you another luxurious episode. We're going to be communicating with our good shipmate, Palomares. I served with him on Escanaba. Guy is full of life, funny, insightful, very cool to the vibes, if you so understood that terminology. We're going to be just talking about, how we transitioned from military life to civilian life and how we just fit into society. We're going to talk about our experiences of what we went through, and then also how we deal with mental health. Stay tuned, enjoy this episode, and cruise the ride along with us. Peace out. All right, testing. Okay, you can hear me. What's up, brother?
What's up?
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my good shipmate, Ashere Palomares. Paulo, would you like to introduce yourself? Let people know who you are. Where you hailing from?
Sure. Aloha, everybody. My name is Paulo. It's my nickname in the military. Born and raised in Hawaii, and I'm calling Steve all the way from Hawaii. So, bit of a time difference. It's currently 9 a.m. here and 3 p.m. where Steve's at. So, yeah, I've known Steve at my first unit all those many years ago. We were pretty good shipmates. I would say really good shipmates back on the knob. 2 years and kind of went our ways after that. But we kept in touch all these years, and now I'm here.
Yes. It's always good to keep in contact with a good brethren. Yeah, we are very good shipmates. I tell people he's one of the three of the Grandmaster helm. So we turn boats on a quarter of a dime real fast. If Mr. Miller say, yo, hit us with a Williamson turn, we'll hit you with a 35 degrees right and then just hit you with the 25 degrees left real quick. But then don't do that though. Please don't do that. Man, yo, thank you for joining this podcast, bro.
Of course. I've been following you since you ever started it, and I was like, this is pretty dope.
But all in all, let's start at the beginning. Your time in the military.
Okay.
What drove you to sign up?
To join?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people from Hawaii can relate to this. There is this thing called island fever, where you're just stuck on this rock, and you're stuck on this rock for 18 years, and you want to go experience new things and go see the world. So I was one of those awestruck 18-year-olds. And honestly, I didn't get into any colleges. So I was like, I need to do something with my life. I remember in high school, I took the ASVAB. I actually did really well. A student counselor called me into their office, and I thought I was in trouble because I usually was in trouble in high school a lot. And she's like, oh, you got an 82 on your ASVAB. I was like, is that good? And she's like, yeah, it's really good. I think so. Those last months of high school, I was calling every recruiter saying like, hey, I got an 82. What can I do? And like a lot of the other branches were like, you can do a lot. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me narrow it down. Like, can you explain? And they're like, oh, you could do logistics. You could be a combat engineer. And I was like, none of those sound good to me. And then how did I stumble on the Coast Guard? My dad really encouraged me because he did almost 27 years Air Force Reserves. And he said, son, if I could ever do it again, I'll join the Coast Guard. I was like, why, Dad? I would fight the war on drugs, or I'd want to jump off helicopters. The classic people's vision of the Coast Guard. Funny enough, we used to go to the beach right across the street of the Coast Guard base. I'm like, I just want to go check it out. So I remember just walking to the recruiter office and saying, hey, I want to fly, or I want to just out and join the Coast Guard. And he's like, you want a tour of that base? I'm like, yeah. So me and my dad, we went, toured the base, and I was like, okay, I think I know what I want to do. That was March of my senior year of high school when I decided to do that.
It's interesting, bro. When you said hey, I didn't went to college, I didn't do none of that. At least you went debt free and you came out debt free. So you're just like, hey, government gonna pay for my schooling, so I'm good to go. I'll pocket them checks. But the interesting part is that the Guard was able to obtain you because you were I would say one of the most hardworking shipmates on the knob. If we were to have a golden crew, I think Siegel would definitely prefer to have the golden crew of deck apes. You, me, Maxwell, Ernst, Romano, Laporte, Shimanek.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll throw tablet in there, but
yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you
Yeah.
know, you know. So if you know, you know. Thompson, because we need a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
And Lobos, there he is, baby.
There he is.
There
That's
he
the
is.
freaking that's the apes. Those are the apes right there. Those are the guys that,
Yeah.
pull that chain. They'll have us just lift things and move it around.
Oh my God, yes. Just like yo,
Stola, you want to talk about straight muscle? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
the German
Remember that
engine.
one time
That's crazy.
we were moving all the gym equipment in the freaking in the hangar and like, all right, deck force, get to it. I think it took like 4 of you guys just to move the treadmill, or we were moving it up the stairs or something like that. That was absolutely insane.
Siegel just standing there sipping his coffee. He's like, all right, get it going. Just like, yo,
Wasn't that thing like 400 or 500 pounds? I know it took 4 of you guys to lift up that treadmill or whatever that machine is.
oh,
Elliptical, yeah.
yeah, freaking DC-1 Lightning on that for hours,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Like just thinking about it, all the memories of Escanaba.
I know.
Oh my God.
The nostalgia.
So what station you end up being at? Like walk us through
My career, basically.
highlighted experience in your career, like things where you could look back on. It's like, yo, this.
Well, so I wanted to be in aviation when I was, most non-rates want to be in aviation. And I actually went to the school. I went to AET, Avionics Electronics Technician, and that has the second highest dropout rate behind the swimmers. So I was one of those statistics. I dropped out of that school, and that was kind of a blessing in disguise because after that, I got stationed in Mobile, Alabama, which was a really interesting experience to say the least, but I liked it. And that's where I got exposed to the whole other realm of the Coast Guard because everyone thinks, oh, it's just ships, aviation. So actually, one of my cool experiences in Mobile was I got to go TDY on a construction, and I did 2 patrols with them, and we ended up rebuilding maybe over I'm gonna say in the realm of 150 to 200 aids, which was that's light work for them, and these are like not necessarily buoys, but these are oh wow, my day boards. That's a really cool process with the crane. It's just heavy machinery, and like I think most deck apes would appreciate it because you're lifting telephone poles off of a deck and then putting it into a diesel powered hammer, and then you're just driving that thing into the riverbed. It's hard work, but it's really rewarding. And that kind of like got me thinking. I was like, okay, I could do this construction side. And after I decided to join the BMA school, I went to BMA school, and then COVID hit. As soon as I graduated, I didn't even have a graduation. And I spent the rest of my career in Portland, Oregon, Inland River Station. So kind of can chill as can be. This is because we were 150 miles inland from the ocean, so no seas, no major current. I mean, there's the currents on the Columbia, but yeah, the biggest thing is like no seas, no inclement weather, and you're just doing safety boardings most of the time on just recreational boaters. So it's not like the most high intensive uh, active case units because on the Oregon coast, if most of you guys don't know, is that's where a lot of the surf stations are, and those guys will go out on like 10-foot days just to train. And I was like, I'm not about that life, but it seemed cool. But I kind of liked my 0-foot level 5 knot current rivers in a major city. Exactly. That's I know I'm putting it out there, but that was kind of like a hidden gem, you would say. Literally a 6-man crew on duty at all times. Yes, in theory, yes it was, because it's a very easy station, but I was a procrastinator. I'm not gonna lie about that. It took me to the very end of the timeline to get to it, just because I'm like I kind of fell into that not complacency. Yes, yes. I'm not trying to say like I was going through a lot, but I got real like a real complacent. I got real complacent because of how chill it was, and this is like peak COVID, and this is just a lot of it was like the world shut down, but we still kept operating, and I just like I'll do my sign offs later. I'll get these hours done later. So I actually got EMI, extra duty. Well, it was probation, so it wasn't like EMI, but I had to come in on my days off and drive the boat around. But I got it. It was, I guess it was super easy to where like I didn't care to try it that hard, if that makes sense.
Crazy.
I know.
Literally, when I got it, I was like at the tail end, like cause they sent me right back to another boat. I was
Mhm.
like, what? I wanted station vacation. I
Mhm.
wanted to have something dope.
Mhm.
Nah, they say
He
we're
said,
going.
"Yeah,
They had Puerto Rico, had
yeah."
station New York, and they took both of them off.
Oh.
I was like, damn. But the Miami. Besides that, when I was out, I was like right there. Like I just needed like another signature, and I would have definitely made it to second class,
Mhm.
and then like freaking move. I can't say BM. He was BM2,
Mhm.
but major BM1 king with like peeps and
Mhm.
them two
Mhm.
boatload of knowledge. If I set supervisors,
Mhm.
I definitely I definitely have top four. Quaid,
Mhm.
uh, Siegel,
Mhm.
Major, and then King has like the all right. I'm the overseer. You talk to me. I'll talk to both.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm just thinking about the Chiefs. It's like there's certain Chiefs that I'm like, yeah, I'll go through a wall with you. I got you.
Mhm.
Just thinking about them. Oh
There's those Chiefs that have your back and like, yeah, they'll have your back and you're like, I'll go to war for you. I'll die for you, kind of a thing.
man. Like they'll call it how it is and like
Mhm.
hold the foot to the fire to the office. It's like, yeah, sure. Well, like,
Mhm.
yeah, fuck me, eye, right? Um,
In a respectful way. In a respectful way.
in a respectful way, yeah.
Yeah.
Loki, there's certain officers that like honorary enlisted. I'll give
Mhm.
Miss Pooh, Miss Lee. I'm just naming people just because
I
like,
know.
hey, don't use this. Hey, don't use this. It's like 5 years away. So it's fair for me to talk about it now.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But besides all the digression and stuff,
Mhm.
I have a question for you, bro. Like, well, what made you decide to walk away? And you decide to say, hey, I'm saddest from here. Like, I can hang my bootstraps and my cap. Because my impression, because a lot of us,
Mhm. Mhm.
Maxwell, Compton, like we was expecting you to do, us together, uh, because we expected you to take it further than us. So what made you?
Yeah, I know a lot of people really told that to me, even like my friends and family, because they're like, "You're the one that was supposed to get out, Ash." And I just, a lot of it was personal, and most jobs, no, wherever you go, you're not gonna have the easiest time, and you're gonna have your controversies here and there. But I'm not gonna lie, that last station, every single year, there was just something different, some other controversy, some other disagreement I had, and I told myself, okay, can I deal with this kind of BS per se in my own workplace, and can I do this for another 12 years? Can I put up with this? I got basically kind of disillusioned with how the Coast Guard was operating, not necessarily what the Coast Guard does, but I was getting very disillusioned with how things were going, and in the world of unrest and a lot of unknowns, that was really scary to me, and that made me like really drive that decision to where like, okay, I'm gonna go. And yeah, I think that last year when I was really debating on getting out, I was like, I need a big change in my life, and I don't think changing stations would do that. I think I need a big change, and I need to kind of focus on myself for a little bit, and honestly take this knowledge that I learn in my work ethic, and I was like, I can apply that anywhere else. That was my main thinking behind that.
that decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, not usually the easiest one to be like, hey, you know what, I gotta change my livelihood, uproot myself again,
Mm-hmm.
start all over, square zero,
Mm-hmm.
not square one, from zero.
Yeah.
But like you and and I would a lot of people in the realm of it's like it's not you. Of course, I'm gonna allow you to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, if I had the crew like X and now, but when I first started, or like just in the tail end of the mid year of that,
Mm-hmm.
I would have sold you 20 years. So like what was the hurdle or challenge that you faced?
Imagine just being in a room and spending half the year with someone you absolutely hate, and like there's just no avoiding them. I'm not going to name them, but I can name at least 3 people that got on my nerves that much, and I just felt powerless because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't tell them what to do, brought it up to the command, they wouldn't do nothing, or there was be some like behind the scenes things going on that I couldn't see, and that was so emotionally draining and so emotionally just exhausting because you're walking on eggshells. You don't know if they're gonna just explode on you one day. And I hate to say it, but one of those people was in my command too. So I've dealt with toxic commands and I've dealt with toxic coworkers, and it just dealing with that in that job sense. And we all know like how long it takes people to get kicked out. And one of the other people I was dealing with, it took them at least 18 months for them to process their discharge. So those 18 months, I'm still working with them. I'm still living with them. I'm still dealing with them, even though they know they're going to get discharged. It's just a mental gymnastics, and I kind of got tired of it. Where like this is not work anymore. This is survival. This is emotional survival. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good boatload of stress that you just basically, man, this is exhausting. I'm dealing with people left and right that probably hate their job, hate their situation,
Mm-hmm.
or probably going through stuff at home,
Mm-hmm.
probably going through stuff at church where it's just like, I can't take it out on this, I'm gonna take it out on you.
You're right.
And it's not even like necessarily saying like that they're gonna take it out on me. It's just like some people are just really happy at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What did those situations?
I think those situations really taught me to be. I'm already an observant person as it is, but those especially like this last year, taught me a lot of emotional maturity about myself, about how to approach things, and really how to see things from other people's perspective. And it's easy to fall into that gossip trap of like, oh, this person's a piece of shit, and you could just talk so much crap about them behind their backs. But it really taught me like, okay, I don't want to be like that, so I'm gonna be better than that, and I'm not gonna fall into that trap of just talking bad about you. I'm gonna try to work with you, or I'm gonna try to do my best to make the peace. But at the end of the day, it definitely really showed some emotional maturity, sucking up your pride and asking this person to help you or asking them to do something. Yeah, it taught me a lot about just how to deal with people, and that's my thing. I think I really worked on my people skills at that last station. I can pull weeds, I can lift things, I can move around. I have that work ethic, but that really taught me how to bring out my people skills.
You know, was upset. You get upset. You can turn red amongst those who knew you,
Mm-hmm.
like throughout the years serving with you. It's like nah, Apollo's tight.
Mm-hmm.
He's smiling at first, like you see see Ramirez
Throwing a fit.
or I'll stay how it is.
Yeah. His connection just dropped. He's gonna use this as some B-roll. Millie watch him come back. He's gonna come back and be like, "Bro, what's going on? What? What in the hell? What in the hell happened, bro?" For real.
I'm back. We're good. Oh God,
We're
we're
good. We're
good.
good. We're back. We're back. Yeah.
Need more power. What I need more power for?
Need more power.
That's ridiculous. Back into it because we're good to go. Coming
Okay.
to me, like, it's like Ramirez. I'll tell you how it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm like, nah, he's being nice. I'm not nice. You're being a shit bag. Go to the paint locker, do the 2-in-1 freaking combo, and go paint that fucking bulkhead. Quit
Yeah.
bullshitting. But like, that's right then and there because we already had that unity. We already like had that brotherhood.
Yeah.
So that part
Exactly.
was like funny, but you lay down the groundwork of how you face life challenges and like how you like keep a level-headed motion between your shoulders. That good, beautiful, luscious hair on your head. I wish I baldy over here, but that's why I'm wearing a hat. But that's okay. But besides that, though, you faced a lot of bullshit in your life, like regarding moving up in the Coast Guard and also even probably partially in your personal life. How did that shape you to build that mental fortitude in your head?
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with resiliency, and it has to just do with like talking about it with other people and confiding in people, and kind of like a lot of things they always point to is like, hey, you overcame this. What's this next challenge? It's not like you're gonna beat it within a day or even a month. Sometimes it takes years to overcome a certain challenge, especially a mental challenge or an emotional challenge. But a lot of these challenges kind of just, like I said, helps you. It puts things into perspective. You get to see things from other perspectives, other people's perspectives, and it helps you understand where this challenge is coming from. Is it from a lack of self-confidence? Is it from like a lack of empathy from others? Is it a lack of love for yourself? It's that's the main reason that I learned from that. And with the BS with others, I've just learned to like not invest my energy into them. I'm like, you're not giving me life. I'm not gonna give you any more energy. Have a nice day. See you with a smile and bye. That's definitely what I learned in a lot of my BS dealings, and it kind of helped me a lot with my current past jobs. So that's also another interesting aspect of my life.
Okay. So my question to you, brother, like, how you tackle them day by day? Like, how do you go about, when you putting one foot in front of the other? Because you're talking about like, hey, it helped you overcome or handle situations in your previous job. So how do you tackle them?
To me, I just think of it as steps. Step one, smile.
Yeah.
Step two, all right, how am I going to approach this person? Step three, what are they saying? Step four, process what they're saying. Like just step by step by step by step. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's okay to take time for yourself. And I did that a lot at my last job. I just did a lot of time to myself, and I just need to emotionally reset, and I'm good. That's usually what I do, or writing out your feelings, going out for a walk, clearing your head, just realigning your head with your body is the best way I can say what I've learned.
Wow. I think like, it's refreshing because obviously, we still keep in contact, we still keep in touch, but hearing this, Paulo, is way different from serving with the knob of or like, Escanaba with Paulo. It's just like, yo, what we working? What's the task? All right, we work hard, we play harder. Okay, we're done. We go like, going crazy where we like
Yeah,
working
going crazy,
going crazy, like 3 weeks out at sea, just like straight, no land. It's just like, all right, doing this. All right, who's mess cooking?
losing your
Who's
mind a
next?
little bit, right?
A little
Yeah,
bit, right.
exactly.
We went from deck apes to deck
The pranks
scholars.
we used to run on each other.
My goodness. Oh God. I love you, Martinez. I still have the video of Martinez when he like, getting ready to go to A school and he's just like, chilling in our berthing. And it's like the last 48 hours of patrol before we would come back to Boston. And Maxwell and him enjoying the music. I mean, excuse me, movie. And I love you, Maxwell. I know we got him so tight because that's the tight. Maxwell gets upset. Yes. Besides the situation,
He does. He
Maxwell do
does.
get upset, and he gets a little snappy.
Yeah.
But that's the most angry I've ever seen him when we tied up Martinez. Like, yo, you guys doing your bullshit. We were just enjoying a movie. I was like, baby, you can't get mad. This
Yep.
this is tradition. This is tradition. right? They ain't doing nothing to us because we pull up.
Yep.
But it's just funny, just like looking back at those videos and looking back at those situations where you're just like, dang, we in the thick thin of it, of the BS and of this mental stress and the exhaustion, standing double
Yeah.
watch, you and I doing B mod, just doing like, all right, who's sitting here, right? And just like taking things as they are.
Yeah.
But
And
hearing
making
how,
light of them.
oh yeah, always making light of them. Because if you're not laughing, like, what's DC
Yeah.
at? Yo, do you love it? I love it every day, brother. Because when you stop loving it, that's when we gotta say, hey, are you okay? Do we need to sit down and talk? But since you're already saying about like taking time to yourself and doing a lot of things of like self-regulation, what's one piece of advice you give to someone in the thick of their own struggle, in their mess of their own BS? What's one piece of advice you can give them?
I guess one piece of advice is to find a healthy outlet. I've seen people fall into that unhealthy outlets of
Oof.
like drugs and alcohol to feel something, especially the
Yeah.
alcohol part. That's the military guys. It's just like, oh yeah, I go home and I just drink a 12 pack just to relax. It's like, no, dude, like find a healthy outlet, whether it's gaming, it's writing, it's sports. Just find an outlet and to express yourself, because
Wow.
my outlet was volleyball. During
Yes.
COVID and during all those stressful times, I really got into volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I'm only 5'8" and I'm jumping on a 8 to 7.5 foot net. So my knees was not happy with me at that time, but that was my outlet. And you can ask almost any of my volleyball friends. They had no idea I was in the military. They had
That.
no clue what I did for work, because I was that different of a person outside of the Coast Guard. There's Coast Guard Asheray, and then there's volleyball Asheray, and most people could not put two and two together.
No, no, no. A lot of people, a lot of civvies won't understand
Yeah.
when we come to a port call, we just drowning our
Mm-hmm.
whole ensembles in alcohol, and that part, it like there'll be some
Exactly.
funny moments. It's like it's funny, like we're getting late night food, just like a cup of booze, but then when that booze
Mm-hmm.
become a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too
Mm-hmm.
ensemble towards us, it's kind of crazy, right? Like if I were to say about Key West, when we spent another week in Key
Yeah.
West, and you
Mm-hmm.
Palestina, freaking VN3 Brown, y'all was taking care of me and Maxwell because we were hurting, and the funny part
I
is,
know.
and you were dying. And I have to give you hella props for stepping in and saying, nah, you when you took control, they said, yo, Maxwell Ramirez, you guys are pulling us out. Knowing that we were hella still hungover. Yeah, I can still say it. I don't care. Hella drunk and hungover. I was like, damn. Yo, I might not listen to the command. And he was like, nah. Me, tablet, yo, let's go. We're helm. You guys stay down here. No, we're not doing this. And Brown said, yeah, I'm so behind that thought. And he was hurting. We were in the aviation, just changing out freaking strobe lights and freaking glow sticks on the fucking vest. We were just like,
Yep.
yo, I am
Yep.
drained. And Captain kept on walking back and forth, looking at us, and we just passed it out. and that's when you took that famous picture. I'm gonna post that picture in this pod. The famous picture. Hey, we are like wait, hold on. What was this? What was the combo again? Boom. On the MC. Attention, Escanaba crew. Unfortunately, we are staying here for another week due to the cool water coolant hose not being here on time.
Yeah.
Yo, everybody was like,
Yep.
and I was just like, another night to get hammered. Yo, damn, I
Well,
should
a
not
big contribution to that was because I wasn't even of age at the time.
Yo.
I wasn't even of age at the time. That was a big
Yo.
contribution to why I couldn't do any of that stuff.
Yo, son, you just.
And I had a good enough head on my shoulders where I could just, I could help you guys out.
Yeah, but you was dying though. You could have. You was like, yo, these guys are idiots.
That's the fun part about being sober, is just watching you guys.
God, I'm just thinking of
you
the
guys
dumb.
act a fool, and I'm just there like.
Oh my God, who was it there? The second old man, I forgot. Fala? Starts with an F.
Fala.
Yes,
Fala.
yes, my
Yes. Yes.
The karate master, man, the karate master.
Yep.
I'm hammered. There's toilet paper in the head.
Excuse me.
Oh my god.
So did you in Grand Haven.
That Ironstone IPA
Mm-hmm.
sat me down. Dry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Yo, that's nah. We're not gonna even hash that out. That was just bad. That was just vibes for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, son, we were retarded trying to drink 3 liters.
Oh yeah.
God, coming back, resistance and mental resilience.
Yeah.
It's vital in anyone's
Mm-hmm.
lifetime, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like mental health care.
Yeah.
After big life change.
I'm not afraid to say it, but I've been going to therapy ever since the knob. Granted, it's not on a consistent basis, but I've had at least since the knob, so that was 2018, 2025 in years. I've had a therapist every year, a different therapist, a different person to open up to, and that's just part of like moving everywhere because a lot of it's in state where you're at, and they can only help you in their state, and sometimes a lot of it's just trial, or sometimes I just don't want to pay for it anymore. So yeah, I've had like 7 different therapists in the last 7-8 years, and that really helps because it like I love to say it like then it helps put things into perspective, and they help you understand the perspective of like we understand what you're going through, but if you look at it from this point of view, you can see it's not that big of a deal, or not necessarily that, but they can empathize with you too, or they can help you process what's going on. I'm a big advocate for therapy and just talking to someone about the feelings that you don't necessarily talk about, and you'd be surprised how many things you hide deep down inside yourself that you have to reopen up, and you feel it, and then it's over. It's the best way I can describe it.
You know what? I can get behind that. Like therapy. Even for me, I went to therapists to ensure that I thought, you know what, and taking on struggles where I'm just like, even me becoming a father, I end up understanding childhood traumas. I'm like, oh, this is why.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I act this way. Oh, interesting. Even then, where I believe for men, like yes, we can go through therapy, but on top of that, having healthy outlets to allow ourselves to physically and emotionally regulate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go hiking, or I'm just gonna go take it within a nature walk. Just doing something active in a man's life is also a benefit to their progression. I think that's like a key component there. And like what you're doing right now, like, hey, I've been going to therapy. I'm doing things to regulate myself, but you also have volleyball. You're doing a physical outlet
Mm-hmm.
to regain your lane of control. That's what we all been not we all been fighting for, just having.
Right.
So like which coping strategies do you impose onto yourself, or do you go within
A little bit of both. I do have some coping strategies. Journaling's a big one. Sometimes I'll look back at some of my journals and be like, damn, I was having some crazy thoughts, right? But then after I journal it, it's gone. It's gone. And then going out to the community, like I said, volleyball, it as much of it as it is like a community, it's a social sport. And I've made some really good connections and really good friends through volleyball. And even surfing. Surfing is like a little bit of everything, where it's physical, you're out in nature, and there's a little bit of a social aspect to it. So it kind of checks the box of all that, of all those things you want to hit.
wow. So what would you say to someone who's like hesitant to ask for help? And that's like going to therapy, talking to a third party. It's like, hey, maybe you should go face your traumas. You should
Mm-hmm.
heal. That's kind of like a very vulnerable.
Right.
Like, oh, let me see your finances. Let me see
Right.
your health.
Right.
Just like, oh, who the heck are you
Right.
to come to this scene? So like,
Getting help is the first step, which is the hardest step. And you're not necessarily going to be thrown over a cliff into the fire of despair. The best therapists that I've met do it very slowly. And maybe it's just me because I'm a very open person. But with a lot of things, it takes time and it's not going to be immediate. And I think that's what's the main fear of these people is like, I'm going to immediately feel my feelings, or I'm going to immediately feel bad for this thing, or this person's going to shame me or judge me. It's a lot of it's just taking those small first steps, first sips, as we would say, first sips, small bites to just get it over, not necessarily get over with, but to start to get that ball rolling. And like, since I had, 7 different therapists, I haven't had the great therapists. I've had some pretty awful ones too. And that kind of helps me perk up emotionally and to sense the kind of vibe a person is. And I'm not going to tell the person I don't like everything. So that's like just like a thing. Just be comfortable with who you are, and once they are comfortable with you and you're comfortable with them, then you can open up and they can actually, you can build that rapport and they can help you process things. And that's a lot. That's a big step. Was I want to build a rapport with this person first before I trust them. And I think that's the biggest struggle people have is, okay, how can I trust this complete random stranger that I'm paying all this money for to talk about my deepest feelings? And I think the biggest thing is I just be yourself and vibe with that person.
I think that's a fair assessment there,
Yeah.
especially where you just you're building a rapport and just like, all right, how's your day? My day is okay because I'm paying you every hour, so
Mm-hmm.
let's get.
Right.
So it's just like that's the thing also, where it just like certain insurance doesn't really necessarily cover the
Exactly.
therapy part. It's just like, okay, I gotta find something that's like cost efficient. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't put a hole in my pocket
Mm-hmm.
or like make me feel like, oh, this advice is shit. Okay, this I don't need this. And that's the part where like it's like a double edged sword sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
especially where as you said, I met some really good ones and I met some really crappy ones, and it goes like the luck of the draw there.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, like mind's challenges and the pain of like sense of loss
Mm-hmm.
and the humidity of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but like honoring your dad's legacy
Mm-hmm.
and like the bonding memories and moments. Your dad played a huge in your life.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe him and his journey?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, my dad was actually a big reason why I joined the Coast Guard because he's the one that kind of convinced me to of like the mission and the whole reason and the whole purpose of the Coast Guard. He actually really drove that, not drove me, but he kind of gave me that perspective of like, hey, we're watermen, we love the water, you like playing in the water, you like surfing, and you can just combine the two. So that was a really big part. If you ever met my dad, I think you've met my dad maybe on FaceTime once or twice. I am his twin, and that's a big role in my life, that I was just like him, he's just like me. So sometimes people would get us confused, and that's how I really honor his legacy, is just kind of keeping the things that he taught me alive, such as surfing or sometimes martial arts or some of his terrible dad jokes. And yeah, I do a lot of things to honor him. I've been surfing on his surfboards a lot, and that's like my way of connecting with him and keeping him alive in memory for me. And we took a bunch of videos, a bunch of pictures, but yeah, that's some of the small things that I do to honor him.
What are some of the fondest memories or
Fondest memories. I do have a dumb story that's pretty fond, near and dear. So you remember how the Pro Bowl used to be in Hawaii all the time?
yeah,
Yeah. So they were practicing on Hickam Harbor, Hickam Pearl Harbor joint base that's practicing there. And my dad had access, so we went there and we're watching the guys, we're watching them play and practice. And then it started pouring rain. And I'm like, oh, great, we're soaked. My dad looks at me, he goes, follow me, son. He takes me into the barracks of this base. We strip down to our underwear. We throw our clothes in the dryer of the barracks, and we're just standing there talking. We're waiting. As soon as our clothes dry, we put it on, and we're walking out. Was it the It wasn't the base commander. It was like one of like the platoon sergeants and one of the commanders was walking into the barracks as we're walking out, and my dad's like, "Oh, what's up, Sarge?" And then, like just passed them, and they paid no mind to us because they were on their way to do a barracks room inspection, and we missed them by like 30 seconds of like them catching us in our underwear using their laundry. And like my dad kind of like taught me that, like, that not necessarily that sneakiness, but like that, like, come, like, let's just do this, like this very like nonchalant way of doing things, or this nonchalant of being, just taking things to your advantage. And that's one of my most fondest memories with him.
Sounds like my type guy.
Right.
Yo, Big Palo.
And he would pull up. Yeah, that's where I get that mentality from, is from him. Just, if he's down, he's down. You tell him we're gonna do this the day of, he's like, all right, I'm down, let's do it. That's where I get that from. I get that not necessarily impulsiveness, but that spontaneity. I get that spontaneity from him.
Good old like inspiration of just a spontaneous moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
But speaking of those moments, how do those moments continue to inspire and guide? I know his influence is serving with you here. He played, you know, in the you. How do you still maintain those principles being so?
Yeah, of just being spontaneous, but also like, the best way I can describe it, he was a lifelong martial art practitioner. And as much as martial arts is physical, a lot of it's mental as well. Having the mental awareness of your surroundings, of your body, of the emotions. And he has a bunch of Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu books out there. He actually gave me a pair of Eskrima sticks, the fighting sticks. And that's like one thing that I carry with me, is just like, okay, these are the things that he taught me to be aware of, and I'm aware of it. And like, oh wow, thanks, Dad. Like, it really brings that out of me, especially because now it's preparing me for manhood, or not necessarily manhood, but fatherhood. And I think you can relate to this, right? You're walking down the street with your daughters and Kim, and you see a sketchy guy, not necessarily near you guys, but down the street. And then that's when you subconsciously like, hey guys, let's walk. Yeah, exactly. So my dad has really drilled and instilled that into me from a very young age, and I still have that to this day. And it's to the point where people don't even notice that I notice. They don't think I notice. But when I'm going to the 7-Eleven, and there's a homeless guy right there, I'll do the classic: open the door, answer my phone, hello, and then they're trying to ask me for $1, and I'm like, hello, what, and then just walk away. They thought I didn't notice, but I know you're there. I'm just not gonna talk to you.
Yeah. Let me hope you got percent. Man, you know I'm struggling.
Exactly.
And he's like, a nickel? Don't you got like a dime?
Exactly.
So, seeing how you are walking into man, well, you're already a grown man right now.
Exactly.
We're talking, holding on to those memories, and that fuels our path, like, you know, shaping us into facing today's world.
So since I left my last job, I need a source of income. And I'm not doing it just because of the income, but I actually want to better myself. I just signed up for school. I'm gonna just pursue just an associate's degree in AA, an associate's degree in just something simple, business administration. So I'm gonna go to school. That's the biggest one. And then I'm still gonna try to find work in the field that I really like, which is hospitality. If you couldn't pick it up by now, I'm very hospitable, and I like talking to people. I like being personable. So I'm still trying to find a good career or job in that field. And then one thing, it's a blessing and a curse. that the passing of my dad. So I live at home with my parents. This man has left so many projects unattended that now I'm the man of the house, and I can finally do it, or I have the time to do it, especially now, and the willpower, and not necessarily his supervision. I could do it however I want to do it, which is kind of great. I have some big plans for this house because it's gonna be mine. It's gonna be mine. So I'm gonna be a homeowner, and yeah.
Shoot, you're out. Hey, well, excuse me. Since you joined the military, you already have benefits.
Exactly.
Home loving.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got this one in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Buy another one that could be. But hey, who's projecting those futures, right?
Right.
But that understanding that you're taking in, you're filling those shoes, and you're taking it into it. You also like not only being the project one, but you also like being rock for the family. Because at the time when we served together, each other's rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like how straightforward you are. At times where you're just like, oh, I can handle it. I'll take the responsibility, make sure things are going smoothly, in
Mm-hmm.
which you do,
Mm-hmm.
especially like maintaining either the paint locker, the sources, or teaching up other helmsmen,
Mm-hmm.
or throwing heaving lines, or being a coxswain in search and rescue,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of that, or boardings, but just taking on to those responsibilities. So those things do to you.
Right.
It's just a different form, different clothes,
Mm-hmm.
different setting, with the same structure. And that's the part where sometimes a lot of people don't understand where come into playing. Like, okay, how practical can I do this? How I compartmentalize the situation?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we tend to be more rational than emotional in certain situations. It's like, all right, got this. I'll deal with it later. And I'm excited for you to handle those projects and get them done
Mm-hmm.
on that move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. It's like I'm done with work.
Mm-hmm.
If viewers and listeners remember just one thing from that, what would that one thing be? What would that one influence or advice that you
It's okay to ask for help. And my biggest thing, you can definitely agree with this for you and me, but be unapologetically yourself. Just be yourself, even if other people don't like it. Just be yourself. You and me both got in trouble for our big personalities, and I've continued to get in trouble for my big personality, and that's not going to deter me from. Yeah, that won't change. Be true to yourself. Be yourself, and ask for help sometimes. That's the biggest takeaways I can give.
Oh yeah. It's funny that you say that
Mm-hmm.
because when I left Escanaba, when I left John Midget, and the people that we get real cool with, like that plays on the other side, either the fireman
Mm-hmm.
or the food service specialist, the CS,
Yeah.
all that stuff, or the E's, they come tell me like, yo, some people didn't like you because you were too like personality was too out there,
Mm-hmm.
you were loud. I was like, so you mean to tell me they were just faking their funk with me, and I'm being genuine with them? He's like, yeah. I was like, don't make me come in there and really call them out.
Mm-hmm.
They probably didn't want me to call them out. They're like,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Right.
ooh, you remember? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you were there. You were there. You and Thompson were there, and you had to calm me down. You remember when I was on SK1?
Yes. Yeah.
And being 150, and being 150, like I like his glasses look good out of rec. Yo, he's not. I'm like, why you hating him?
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, that's crazy. We supposed to stick together. Yo, you right now. I was really just going hands. Like, Palomares, relax. Yo, remember him? Yeah,
Kim. Kim. You gotta go back to Kim.
I was like, oh, yo, let my hands go. But yes, it's true. Like how you said, you're gonna be your unapologetic self.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, just to make sure anybody else in the room feels comfortable. It doesn't make you feel comfortable at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, I'll let them manage me.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, thank you, bro. Thank you for just joining in our chat, giving your insight, your feelings,
Yeah,
letting people know who you are.
yeah.
How people can reach out to you.
I'm not really big on social anymore, but I got my main Instagram, Asher Slayin with underscore at the end. And yeah, that's typically what I post now. I had a YouTube channel before for volleyball content, but I don't really put much energy into that. I'm more focused on living in the moment. But yeah, if you guys want to come check out my life, Asher Slayin, and then we can probably build a relationship and a rapport. And then maybe, maybe you guys can go on my Snapchat where I'm a little bit more myself and a little bit more out of pocket. But yeah, that's mainly it.
Yo, thank you, Paulo. Yo, thank you, listeners. Yo, like and subscribe. Tune in. This is Steve for Not for Nothing Podcast. You find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, but TikTok and not so much.